take me back to when we were grinding in the backseat. Back to when you were kissing all over me. Back to when we were grinding in the backseat. Yeah, we're back to always, to the old days when you told me that you can't get enough. We're grinding in the backseat. I spy my case on all life's right, I can't go wrong, I can't go wrong. Days full, the lights are long, turn our radio up, this is my song. Turn it up, turn it up. And we have been, and I love right here, so I'ma live right now like I never was feeling the air, was feeling the air. I spy my case on all.
Let's get this paper together. My goal is for us to get this paper forever. Let me know if you down to ride or die. It's whatever, 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 whenever, whenever, yeah. Let's get this paper together. My goal is for us to get this paper forever. Let me know if you down to ride or die. It's whatever, 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 whenever, whenever, yeah. Short term to long term.
Our plugin FUSER helps you resolve channel conflicts in your mix. In this video, I'm going to walk you through some examples of how you can use it and how to get the most value from it. So let's take a listen to this track and identify which channels are conflicting.
So take me back to when we were grinding in the backseat. Back to when you were kissing all over me.
So I can hear straight away that the music is too loud in comparison to the vocals, and they're fighting for that same space in the mix. In the same way, the bass and the kick are also conflicting. So let's start with the bass and the kick. So we're going to insert FUSER here as the last plugin on the channel. I'm going to sidechain the kick. And I'm going to let it analyze the tracks.
So take me back to when we were grinding in the backseat. Back to when you were kissing all over me. Back to when.
So what we have here is the input gain is showing us that to match the bass level to the kick, we need to lower it by about 4 decibels, and we're going to match it here. This means that our kick and bass now have a pretty comparable perceived loudness. And if we turn our attention here to the frequency display, we can see that these red areas are showing areas of conflict in the mid channel. If I click resolve conflicts, I immediately get this node that is in a great position to start ducking only in the mid. See, I can do mid or side here. It's automatically gone right to the mid and alleviates the issues that we heard here. I can also click the phase optimization button, which will analyze both the kick and the bass and give me the perfect phase rotation to minimize phase cancellation. So let's have a listen. So in the context of the mix, the kick is now going to be punching through much nicer. Let's take a listen.
So take me back to when we were grinding in the backseat. Back to when you were kissing all over me. Back to when we were grinding in the backseat.
Pokes through in a very nice way now. Let's have a look at the music.
So take me back to when we were grinding in the backseat. Back to when you were kissing all over me. Back to when.
Again, I'm going to sidechain the vocals this time. I can see that the volume balance is way off. So here, the music is actually quite a lot louder than the vocals. So I'm going to bring this down, again about 4 decibels. Let's optimize the phase as well. Phase optimization is best on very similar sounds like layered kicks, layered basses, but it also adds a little touch of improvement for things like music and vocals or kick and bass. So let's see. The yellow glow is showing me the side conflict and the red glow is showing me the mid conflict. So I'm just going to instantiate a stereo node around here. Let's give that a listen.
Back to when we were grinding in the backseat. Yeah, we're back to always, to the old days when you told me that you can't get enough. We're grinding in the backseat.
So now we'll use reference. I've got the bounce before. It came in here. This is without FUSER. And let's jump back and forth between them and have a listen.
So take me back to when we were grinding in the backseat. Back to when you were kissing all over me. Back to when we were grinding in the backseat. Yeah, we're back to always, to the old days when you told me that you can't get enough. We're grinding in the backseat.
So that's really nice. So if you pay attention to the kick and the vocals. In the previous mix, so without FUSER, all we've added is 2 instances of FUSER, one on the bass and one on the music channel. This is the track without either of those.
So take me back to when we were grinding in the backseat.
The kick is almost, you can't even hear it, the vocals are getting buried.
Yeah, we're back to always, to the old days when you told me that you can't get enough. We're grinding in the backseat.
So that's really alleviating that channel conflict, bringing things to the forefront that need to be... It's those focal points. The vocals need to be heard, the kick needs to be heard, and when they're conflicting with those other channels, they just get buried in the mix. Getting the volume balance right, and then that sidechain ducking in a very transparent way. Notice on the bass, we're not ducking all of the frequencies. We're just ducking them in the mid channel. You know, around this is about 75 hertz. So, and it's just a touch as well. If we see on the right hand side here, we can see exactly how much the bass is actually ducking.
So take me back to when we were grinding in the backseat. Back to when you were kissing all over me. Back to when we were.
So this is what's being removed. If I solo the kick as well, I can really zone in on the attack and release here. See, too long and it's and there's too much reduction happening, so we want it to be nice and tight. Could even bring this up a little bit, so it's a little bit less. Nice. If I bypass FUSER, the relationship between the two is no good. Much tighter.
Back to when you were kissing all over me. Back to when we were grinding in the backseat. Yeah, we're back to.
Nice. So that is in the context of a rock track. Let's have a look at a pop track. Can do something very similar here. Let's just have a listen and see where the conflict is occurring. We'll approach it in the same way here. So we're going to start with the bass and see if we can balance those elements with the kick. So I'm going to sidechain the kick. I'm going to press play. So the first thing I'm doing here is bringing down the input, so we're balancing the kick and the bass. It's good to have those as a pretty relative balance here. We can see the momentary, short-term and integrated luffs here of both the track that we're working on, so the bass, in the white, and then the sidechain is that little grey line. So you can see now they're pretty much all lining up. So let's have a look at the conflicts here. So we can see the conflicts, again, all in this low-end range. Let's click Resolve Conflicts. And again, immediately we have this nice tight ducking, again focused in the mids. Let's bring up the volume and have a listen. Just allows the kick to poke through as it should. Again, it's quite a subtle approach to fixing these issues. But when we do a before and after with the music done as well, you'll hear it's quite a significant difference. So as far as I'm concerned, the bass and kick relationship there is done now. It's a nice, quick approach to doing it. So let's have a listen to the music and the vocals. So I want the vocals to sit a little bit behind, the music to sit a little bit behind the vocals here, maybe a decibel or so. So we have the level match pointer here jumping around because of the difference in the arrangement. But let's see. I want it to sit just behind it around here. So that's fine. And we'll allow the resolve conflicts to start doing some analysis. See how it goes. Okay, so we got some issues, some conflict both in the mid and the side channel. So I'm going to initiate a little node here, nice and broad, and I'm going to have it quite subtle. So the lower down I bring it, the more processing, because it's linked to the threshold on this side here. So I'm processing both mid and side here. Do a couple of nodes. Let's bring the volume up.
I feel like a vacay, quick road trip from CO to CA, free, and now I'm feeling nice, cause the pilot's been piling, but I'm pushing past into paradise. So come and see what it be now, nothing like the kind of high.
So let's have a listen to the original without FUSER and see how it sounds. So this is with FUSER, and then the reference is this one, which is without. That bass in the reference track is just burying the kick. Again, it's subtle, but when these things are all brought together at the end of the mix, it can really improve the sound. So let's have a look at another example. Let's go hip hop.
Let's get this paper together. My goal is for us to get this paper forever. Let me know if you down to ride or die. Whatever, whenever.
Again, that kick's getting buried. So let's solve that.
Let's get this paper together. My goal is for us to get this paper forever. Let me know if you down to ride or die. Whatever, whenever. Yeah. Let's get this paper together. My goal is for us to get this paper forever. Let me know if you down to ride or die. Whatever, whenever. Yeah.
Not much phase change there.
Let's get this paper together. My goal is for us to get this paper forever. Let me know if you down to ride or die. Whatever.
Let's make sure that's nice and tight. Hitting delta here, so I'm soloing what it's taking out of the mix and making sure that the tail is in line with the kick itself. The kick is really tight, so a nice short release, super fast attack.
Whenever, yeah. Let's get this paper together. My goal is for us to get this paper forever. Let me know if you down to ride or die. Whatever.
That the relative balance is now sounding a lot better. So let's see, this is just with the kick changed, with the again before and after.
Let's get this paper together.
And reference here is level matching everything for us, so it's a very fair comparison.
Let's get this paper together. My goal is for us to get this paper forever. Let me know if you down to ride or die. Whatever, whenever. Yeah. Let's get this paper together. My goal is for us to get this paper forever. Let me know if you down to ride or die. Whatever, whenever. Yeah. Let's get this paper together. My goal is for us to get this paper forever. Let me know if you down to ride or die. Whatever.
It's difficult to know when there's an issue until you start solving them. If we had another reference track here, like comparing it against, it would help us make these decisions. But this also is very helpful because you can get the right volume balance, you can optimize the phase, you can do the ducking, and it alleviates the problems pretty successfully. So that's just with the bass there. Again, let's do the same with the music.
Let's get this paper together. My goal is for us to get this paper forever. Let me know if you down to ride or die. Whenever. Yeah. Let's get this paper together. My goal is for us to get this paper forever. Let me know if you down to ride or die. Whatever. Let's get this paper together. My goal is for us to get this paper forever. Let me know if you down to ride or die. Whatever, whenever. Yeah. Let's get this paper together. My goal is for us to get this paper forever. Let me know if you down to ride or die. It's whatever, 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 whenever, yeah. Let's get this paper together. My goal is for us to get this paper forever. Let me know if you down to ride or die. It's whatever, 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 whenever, yeah. Let's get this paper together. My goal is for us to get this paper forever. Let me know if you down to ride or die. It's whatever.
It makes such a huge difference, it's insane. So just getting that volume, the relative volume balance right, and then ducking to make space for those punchy elements. And for the important elements like the vocal, it just brings out so much clarity in the mix. Let's listen to this one more time.
Let's get this paper together. My goal is for us to get this paper forever. Let me know if you down to ride or die. It's whenever, yeah.
Big difference. Cool. Okay, now let's look at layering kicks. So this is something that a lot of producers like to do. They love to layer kicks and make sure that they can add different textures and different sounds, and it can really improve the overall vibe. So when I layer these two kicks, what's happening is the low frequencies are basically overlapping and cancelling each other out. So let's have a listen. To give you a visual, this is what the combined kicks look like when they're bounced. So there you got kick 1 here, kick 2 here, and when you play them together, they look like this. So you can see this tail is just being reduced, all of these overlapping frequencies here, basically bringing this to nothing. And what we're going to do is we are going to use the automatic phase analysis on these kicks to resolve that problem. So I'll instantiate FUSER on one of the kicks, I'll sidechain the other, so hard kick, and now we're going to click this button here. Bit of latency there, but let's start again. So that's with, without. Without. And I've got a bounce here of what it looks like with as well. So here, this is without FUSER, and this is with FUSER. You can see how the tail here gets a lot thicker. And if we analyze those files, so kicks no FUSER, kicks with FUSER. So you can see that the loudness is actually 2 decibels louder with no difference in peak. So we're really seeing a big difference there. And in terms of the tonal balance, I'll just load this one in here so we can compare it to this reference track. Okay. So the kick with the phase optimized brings about an extra 2 decibels in the subs, which is really, that's what's giving it that extra weight in there. So let's have a listen. Now that we've seen the analysis in terms of what it's actually doing and how it's helping, let's listen to it with and without in the context of them. So this is with FUSER, without, with, and in the context of the mix. Weak, very strong. So yeah, it's a very powerful tool. You can use this on layering snares, use it on layering basses, any kind of layering guitars. Just click the automatic phase analysis here. I can also adjust these phase filters if I wanted to focus the phase adjustments on a specific range. This red glow that you're seeing here is showing the points in the track that have the most phase cancellation. So I could focus this rotation just on this range here. Very nice. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to help. And we really hope that FUSER helps you get your mixes sounding amazing, clean, clear, and powerful.